Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, What the Beck. I have a problem. This t-shirt is like way too tight on me, and I like it a lot, but I could do better myself. So in order to get this donated to someone else who actually fits it without having to saw off their armpits, let's knit a t-shirt. Well, of course I'm not going to do it the normal way. I'm going to let the dice decide. I had this idea for a little bit and I was waiting on finding some yellow yarn because this is how much I have, and I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna start, and if I roll to where I need more yellow, I will go buy some. But yeah, so I kind of assigned numbers to the colors I'm gonna use. This is my like range here, if you can see. I have too much cotton yarn and I don't think to use it as often as I do for like acrylic or other things. Like wool and stuff is what I usually use for my own clothes. But I did want to try making a t-shirt because I'm gonna be making a lot of sweaters. And I don't need a million of them, so I'm like, what else can I make that I can wear to use up what I have? So I'm gonna replace this t-shirt. I have already assigned colors to the D12, and the 12th one is going to be my choice. If I like don't use one of these blues before I get to the store to get more yellow, I might replace one with purple. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I also have put a cap on the number of rows I'm willing to put up with, because I want this to be a very like varied kind of stripe, so like some really thin, some really thick, but I don't want it to be where like I roll a D12 and I get 12 rows of green next to one row of red, you know? So I'm keeping it 1 to 6 rows per color. I'm also going to be using this pattern, which is the Easy Knit Tee in 5 sizes. This is by Designs by KN on Ravelry, and I will link this in the description. I'm going to be making a size small, which says it will fit me, but I don't want it to end up being super tight. So if my gauge ends up being a little bigger than it's supposed to, I might just go with it and not adjust for that. So yeah, let's get this going. So I'm going to start off by just rolling a few so that once I get everything cast on, I know what I'm going to be doing for a little bit. I already decided that my like edges with the collar and the bottom are going to be white. So if I roll white for this first selection, I'm going to re-roll. So let's see what we get to do. First color is going to be number 6, so yellow, which means I'm definitely going to run out of that. And that's going to be 3 rows. And I'll just keep doing this and we'll see how we go. I'm also going to implement a rule that it's not going to be allowed to put the same color twice in a row, or like I just rolled dark green again. I'm not going to do that unless there's at least 2 other stripes in between them, just for variety. And so on and so forth. So I will check back when I have a good bit of this going. Hi. There's a problem. So to make the extra small, you have to do 48 stitches for half of the t-shirt, and that does not even go halfway around my waist, let alone leaving any stretch or like a stitch on each side for like seam allowance. So I'm gonna have to go a size up, which is a little annoying because I already went through and highlighted all the stuff for the smallest size. But I want it to fit, so I'm gonna redo it. But also, like, look how good my long tail was for that many stitches. Like, that's a perfect amount to have left over. Whatever. I'll be back. Okay. I have redone my cast on. Not as good of a tail this time, but I have a needle where like it helps you sew it when it's extra short, so I'm not too worried about that. It does go halfway around my waist now, even though you can't really see that. But yes, it does go halfway around. And when I block it, hopefully it will relax a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna do the garter stitch portion of the bottom of the shirt and then start the stripes. So this is what I have so far. I am glad that I put the cap at 6 rows because I think it's kind of pushing it. It's a little over an inch, I think. Where's my ruler? So yeah, 6 rows is a little over an inch, and I didn't want to get much bigger than that. I like that I don't have any repeats yet. I'm glad that I chose as many colors as I did because I don't want it to all be like a really limited color palette. My next color is this one, and I also rolled 6 for this. And I started realizing that like I might run out of certain colors, so when that happens I'm going to have to retire them from the list. I'm also deciding that I'm going to make the front and back panel the same pattern. So whatever I rolled for the front, I'm going to also do for the back the exact same pattern so it matches all the way around. And I'm going to do the same with the sleeves. So the sleeves aren't going to match whatever the top of this looks like. They're going to be rolled on their own chart, I guess, and then they will be exactly the same on both sides. So yeah, I think I may also introduce more colors because if it gets to a point where like all of my warm colors are run out and retired, I might need to add some more, and I do have other balls of cotton yarn like ready to be used in other of these like type of colors. But yeah, I'm excited to have gotten this much done in one day. I'm gonna keep going, and then I think I'm gonna go to bed in like an hour, so I'll show you what I did in the whole first day. So I have done that much. It's about 10 inches, and I think that once I do the rest of my pre-recorded rows, which is 1 row of yellow and 4 of hot pink, that will get me to the 11 inches the pattern needs before we do the like shoulder area. But I think I'm going to stop there for tonight. We did have the repeat color of the dark green and the white from the bottom, but I like it so far. I think it's looking pretty cute, and I haven't like run out of any yarn. I kind of have to guess, like the yellow in particular. This is pretty small, but whoop, I dropped it. I'm pretty confident that I can get 3 rows out of that for the other side. But since my next row is yellow, I'm going to use this other yellow that I have that's cotton. It's a little bit different. I don't know if you can see that. I think it's actually like 8 ply instead of 4 ply. But it's the same thickness, so it should be fine. So once I did that area, I had to roll some more rows up to make the armhole area. So I just was documenting that here. And then I had this much done before the little neck area. And then I had to roll those up. I also got a few of my own choice rows. So based on whatever colors were there, I chose red and orange. And this is how the top looks like. I think it came out pretty good. I also made the back panel exactly the same as the front and tried the 3-needle bind off to attach the top of the straps, which I had never done before. Then it was on to the sleeves, and like I said, I wanted to have them be the same as each other, so I rolled all this, and then I kind of laid out the colors as I had rolled them to choose my choice color, which was light blue. And here's what it looks like with both the sleeves on, and all I had to do from this point was just weave in all the ends, which I'm not someone who hates weaving in ends, but it was a lot. And then I just need to sew the side seams together and make the little collar area. I finally wove in all the ends. It took me literally all day. I think today I did from this part of the sleeve to the end, and then the rest of the day I spent weaving in ends, and it was a very slow day at work. So I didn't have a ton to do to cut into my knitting time. But yeah, I got it sewn together. I found that just a regular running stitch was fine. You can't really see it when it's inside out, which I prefer because I really didn't want to have to sew with each individual color. But definitely, like, once it's blocked and stuff, you won't be able to see that white thread running through there. So now the only thing left to do is add the collar, and it'll be done. So I'm going to do that with white as well. And then we can try it on. I was hoping to film the try on outside. It's winter. There are already like 8 inches of snow on the ground, and it's supposed to snow more tonight. So I'm not doing that. So I will get you a nice fun photo shoot and video from inside the house tomorrow. I just have to weave in the final end of the shirt and then I can wear it. I wanted to show you a tip that I learned for cotton yarn. I'm a little nervous because it's not the way I typically weave ends, but basically what you can do is unply the yarn in half. So I just split it, and then you just like loop it through one of the like stitches and then do a square knot. So to do the square knot, because sometimes I forget and I do it wrong, but how you're looking at me is going to be opposite, but basically from my perspective, you put the right one over the left one and tie a knot, and then you put the left one over the right one and tie a knot. And since it's cotton and it's really grippy, I feel like it's slippery when it's a thicker yarn, but I mean, even if you wanted to, you could tie another knot, and I've done that for some of them, like the more like slippery ones, like this one yellow I was using. I didn't trust it that much. But then you can apparently just like cut them pretty short, not like right next to the knot, but like a little bit away from it. And you can see those are the little square knots I did before. And that supposedly finishes it, and then I think the one from when I started the neckline I already tied. So just cut that. And now it's done. It's the same on the front and the back, like I said. I did have a little bit of an issue when I was doing the collar. So I basically, you're supposed to pick up 50 stitches for the size I was making, and I could not get that to work where it would look nice because this middle bit here is like at least 18 stitches across, and then up the side I think I fit in 5 there. For the other parts, like the sleeve, you pick up 1 basically every other stitch, so that was easy to keep track of. But I basically had to start that area with more stitches than the pattern said and then decrease down to what it said. So I just decreased in this area on both sides until it was down to 50 stitches. But yeah, that's how it looks like flat, and this is how it looks like on. It fits pretty good. I mean, I like the sleeve length. I like that this dark blue kind of matches this area with the other dark blue because there's no other dark blue stripe. And I do enjoy that I picked the light blue to come up here because, again, there was only 1 stripe of that light blue down here. So it kind of brings it all together. We also have like a little mirroring element here with like the orange and yellow on those parts. But yeah, I like it. I definitely want to make this pattern again, or like use the instructions and like measurements that were given as a guide to try to make one with a little bit of a thinner cotton, maybe with like a what's it called, a gradient. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. And like I said, when I did the running stitch, you can't really see the seam on the side, which I really like. And since we picked up the shoulder stitches, the only seams there were this up here, which was 3 needle bind off, which I hadn't tried before, but I like it, and I'm probably going to keep doing that for other projects. And then the seam that goes all the way from the bottom up to under the arm. So to recap, I really liked this. I thought it was fun to like have the dice decide for me, and like I didn't really know what was going to come next or what color was going to come next. I do suggest that if you're going to do this, definitely have an option that's your choice, because if you only let the dice decide, they're just little pieces of plastic. They don't know how to design something that you would like. So within like the confines of what you give them the color palette you like, and give yourself the choice to do the stripe color once in a while. I also think that the next time I do this, I might like change the range a bit. So maybe do 1 to 3 rows or per color, or 3 to 6, because I like the variation here, but I feel like because I kept rolling like 5 and 6, the 1 and 2 rows are kind of like, I don't know, there's not as much, I don't know how to say it. I wish you could like see them more, and I think that having either 2 or 3 rows that are different colors, or the thicker rows that are different colors, would be a more interesting piece. Because this one, it kind of looks a little discombobulated, but that's why I'm glad I picked the colors I picked, because I like rainbow. The only thing I didn't put on this was purple, and I do have like several shades of pink. So yeah, if you do a Dice Decide My Knitting project, please tag me, or like put Dice Decide in the title, because I looked on YouTube and there's not a ton of videos that say Dice Decide My whatever. Like people do like having their pets decide their makeup and stuff, but I think it would be cool if we got like a little knitting community Dice Decide tag going. You could probably also post your project with hashtag Dice Decide My Knitting, and yeah, then I'll be able to see it. Feel free to tag me on like Instagram or anything like that. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more, you can subscribe to my channel and hit the bell, because YouTube doesn't work unless you use the bell. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!